Good morning, everyone. Just before we start our service, I just wanted to make a quick announcement. The music that is in today's service is not as written. We are doing the program that we were going to do last week, so whatever you see written is not actually what we're doing, and I am super excited to have a guest with me today, Torsten Fayen, who is our violinist. So we'll welcome him, and yeah. Woo-hoo. And just briefly, the music that we'll be performing is from a composer named Donkla, variations on an air, and a number of the selections are from that suite. And then Torsten will also perform on piano, playing a Handel, Haydn, one of those two, he'll let you know. And then we'll also do an accordion violin klezmer piece that was arranged by my friend Steve Schwartz, so we'll do that for the offertory. So I think I got everything there. So thank you.
All right. Thank you very much, Randy. We can't wait to see what you guys have got cooking up. Welcome, everybody, and good morning to the First Unitarian Church of New Bedford. It's so amazing that you guys are able to come despite the snow, despite the weather. It really shows how much we are willing to come together no matter what is going on in the world, and that we are amazing when we band together against the odds. I'm Tony Ann, and I am a member of the Social Justice Committee. We are a beloved community of people who believe that everyone is worthy of respect, science is real, the democratic process is a sacred thing, and that we are all part of an interconnected web, and that the light and energy we share and put out makes a difference in the world. We are a people of purpose, and if what you hear today resonates with you, we hope you'll consider becoming part of this way cool family of seekers, keepers of this long dream that is our church. First Unitarian in New Bedford recognizes that the land we inhabit and enjoy sits on the unceded ancestral land of the Wampanoag, the people of the first light. We actively commit ourselves to the process of working to dismantle the legacy of colonialism and oppression of our country's native people and all those who have been marginalized. Our mission is to unite all those who have been divided by our oppressors, to rise up and to reclaim our rights. We are here to call out all forms of injustice and to acknowledge our interconnectedness. United we stand, divided we fall. Together we are what we can't be alone. Remember to acknowledge that all forms of oppression are the same, and that oppressors work to divide the oppressed to prevent them from uniting. Before we continue, let's do a little bit of housekeeping. Sign the blue card if you are new. It's in front of all your pews. Join us for coffee hour after the service. We're live streaming, so like and subscribe to our YouTube channel if you haven't already. And finally, take your phones, put them into worship mode. Really quick, it takes a minute. All right, so without further ado, let's light that chalice. Who wants to do it today? Yeah, all the way in the back. All right. You're gonna need something to light them with. You got it? Okay. All right, and as they light our chalice, our opening words are from Chris Hedges. Revolution is not ultimately a political calculation. It's a moral one. It is grounded in a vision of another world, another way of being. It is driven in the end by a moral imperative, especially since many of those who begin a revolution do not survive to see its fulfillment. Revolutionaries know that, as Immanuel Kant wrote, if justice perishes, human life on earth has lost its meaning. And this means that, like Socrates, we must come to a place where it is better to suffer wrong than to do wrong. Now, as you will rise, as you are willing and able, for our opening hymn, number 170, We Are a Gentle, Angry People.
Gentle, angry people, and we are singing for our lives. We are a gentle, angry people, and we are singing for our lives. We are a justice-seeking people, and we are singing for our lives. We are a justice-seeking people, and we are singing for our lives. We are a young and old together, and we are singing for our lives. We are young and old together, and we are singing for our lives. We are a land of many colors, and we are singing for our lives. We are a land of many colors, and we are singing for our lives. We are gay and straight together, and we are singing for our lives. We are gay and straight together, and we are singing for our lives. We are a gentle, angry people, and we are singing for our lives. We are a gentle, loving people, and we are singing for our lives.
All right, stay standing. Now is the time to greet one another. Say good morning, turn around 360, and say good morning to someone you haven't met yet. About 10 more seconds until I get my hair tied. All right. Now, remain standing as we recite our covenant. We come together as a religious community, upholding freedom of conscience, right relationship, and the inherent worth of all people. We value our diversity and pledge to care for one another in the spirit of compassion, to speak and listen to each other with respect, and to promote justice and kindness in the world. You may be seated. All right. So now we have, are you guys going to be doing anything? Okay. All right. So now we will turn it to Sam and Yasmin, who will be giving us our presentation. All right. Take it away.
Good morning, everyone. Here we are in February with a new theme that we use Soul Matters to help guide our work here, and it's resilience. How perfect, considering the climate of the era. So with that in mind, we're going to share a story about how we respond when life gets really hard. So this is the parable of the potato, the egg, and the coffee bean. And then Sam's gonna help out here. So here we go. Once upon a time, there was a daughter who complained so much. She just couldn't get it together. I don't understand how I'm gonna manage and live my life, because just as one thing gets solved, another thing comes along. And the father's like, oh my God, what's going on? And she's saying, I'm tired of struggling. It's always a situation. So her father, a chef, brings her to the kitchen, because as we know, all good conversations happen around the kitchen table. So he fills 3 pots with water and places each one on a high fire. And once those pots begin to boil, he places a potato in a pot, some eggs in a pot, and some coffee. So, of course, he lets them sit and boil. And of course, what is the daughter doing? Moaning, complaining, waiting, bored. 20 minutes goes by and he turns off the burners. He takes the potato out and places the potato in a bowl. Next, the eggs come out, and they obviously go in a bowl. And third is the lovely aroma of that hot coffee. And the daughter's sitting there like, oh gosh, where are we going? Well, he says, what do you see? And what does she say? Potato, eggs, and coffee. Look closer. That's what most teachers do when students, can't get it right. Look closer. So she says, I don't understand. Well, look at the potatoes. Touch the potatoes. Did you notice how they're soft and fell apart with the slightest touch? Then he says, take the egg and break it. And after pulling off the shell, she observed it's a hard-boiled egg. And finally, take a sip of that Folgers cup of coffee. Its aroma brought such a smile. Father, what does this mean? Listen, the potatoes, the eggs, and the coffee all faced the same adversity. They have been met with boiling water. However, everyone reacted differently. The potato went in strong, unrelenting, but faced with the boiling water, it came out soft. The egg was fragile, but once the boiling water met it, it turned hard. Now, the coffee beans were so unique. It's like one of our justice, our article words that we sort of are rooted here, and that's transformation. So after the coffee bean was exposed to boiling water, they didn't fall apart, yet it absorbed and transformed into something wonderful. So let me ask you, not just the daughter, which one are you? When adversity knocks at your door, how do you respond? Are you a potato? Are you an egg? Or are you a coffee bean? Because in life, things happen to us and things happen around us. And the only thing that truly matters is your choice and our choice of how we respond to the adversity. So you can crumble in fear, you could turn hard and refuse to change, or you could dig deep and absorb the adversity and transform it into something new and wonderful. So, what I love about this story is it brings us back to that word grit. When I was growing up, I didn't really hear of this word other the relation to sandpaper, but now I get it. It's that toughness, no matter what we're dealt with, no matter what we see, no matter what's happening out here. So let's take that adversity. Let's go out and say, yeah, today I'm a little coffee, I'm a little potato, I'm a little whatever. That is what the whole point of this story is today. So as we think about our theme of resilience this month, know that we do have the power within us, and that's why we're here together, because we are not alone. So let's face that adversity, let's be creative, and then let's all enjoy coffee hour together and be thinking about what it means to have grit. And with that, we're gonna have Sunday school today.
We have a bonus story today, actually.
And we have a bonus story for children today.
Yeah.
So we're staying here today because, remind me of your name again? I don't want to mess that up. So I'm going to introduce you to our double story today. And come on up to the pulpit. Thank you so much, everybody. We're not going to Sunday school quite yet. Eldric. Thank you so much.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Eldric Abreu. Thank you so much for your time. I am a community advocate and a resident researcher here in New Bedford, and also an author of the Environmental Justice Journey book. And my work uses storytelling and education to connect local history, environmental justice, and community resilience, while uplifting the voices of neighborhoods most impacted by inequality. Today, I want to speak about advocacy, justice, and equal civil rights, because progress has never happened automatically. Every step toward equality automatically has never happened, and every step has required people to stand up, speak out, and refuse against injuries. And we will skim through this book. That was the purpose of creating this book. These are the hidden histories of New Bedford's environmental justice journeys, written by myself, Tony Hanna as a tour guide, with the support of the Conservation Law Foundation, MIT's Department of Urban Studies and Planning, the Healthy Neighborhood Study, and the YMCA South Coast. Welcome to the city of New Bedford. This is a city full of history, culture, and stories. Today, our guides are not only people, but they are animals who live here and who have traveled from far away. Today, we will be hearing from them, just like on our walking tours. We will explore history and the environment together. Hi, I'm Kiana the Bunny, and I love hopping through our sidewalks and always having something to live on. Yet lately, I've noticed changes. When it rains, the ground floods more often, and the water stays longer. Even my burrows do not stay anymore. Long ago, New Bedford was the whaling capital of the world. And by the mid-1800s, New Bedford earned the title of this whaling capital of the world. It became the largest and richest port in America. Thankfully for the whaling era did not last forever. While the whaling ended, factories grew along the waterfront, and that is when some real trouble had began, and industrial dumping poisoned our harbor. We have this is also a book from different narratives of official. I'm just going to skip through. I have lived through these waters all my life. When the factories started dumping toxic chemicals, they had turned this water toxic, and we had to survive through a poisoned harbor. This is Chanel the Crab saying, trying to live with PCB stuck in their shell is not fun at all. We did not ask for this, and we did not ask to be carried for these burdens for years. We have a lemur speaking that in 1987, how they had came over in a whaling ship, which we have marked here from the Adeline Gibbs that was sailing out of the New Bedford Harbor Port that you could see at the Fairhaven Library, as well as Dina the Flamingo that had been carried over through an extreme storm and gone through some displacement through these waters. And this book is speaking on two environmental sites here in New Bedford, which is the New Bedford Harbor and the Old Morse Cutting to a Brownsville site. I had an opportunity last year to do some walking tours from March and October of 2025 to educate the community and get them involved with the help of Tony Yin as well as one of our tour guides. And now I've created an educational community coloring book for youth in the community to help educate on these two super fun sites. I don't want to take up all your time. We could save this for the coffee hour, but would love to share that we will be doing community partner events. We'll be reading this at AHA Night, as well as other with youth events like YOU, Youth Unlimited, and other different community events. We've already had some book readings with the South Coast YMCA, as well as Denison Memorial Community Center, and are continuing to advocate into the community that our advocation and our involvement is part of the resilience that continues these efforts. And that is where I had created this book and wanted to share that our journey continues on with all of us. And that is each generation, not just the past people that have been affected, but to continue on and get the future future. And these future generations involved and educated. And thank you. I could give a lot more detail into it. I wrote a bit more of a sermon, and I'm just going to wrap that up. We could share more about this book. This book will be found at the New Bedford Public Library. And thank you for your time as well today.
All right, and now is the time in our service where we do our candles of joy and concern. So if anybody has a joy or concern that they would like to share, please come forth. All right.
Hi everyone, I'm Bree. I have a concern, and I'll try to be quick about this, but there is a little girl, 8-year-old little girl, who is currently not with her foster family. She's been taken from her foster family, and the DCF is currently trying to forcibly remove her from the country and send her to Guatemala to be with her bio father. However, her bio father has never been with her. He's never lived with her, and he has outstanding warrants in Massachusetts. And she is a U.S. citizen. She is not from Guatemala. She doesn't speak the language. She's always lived here. It's a very sad situation. And she's also a UU. She's a UU child, 8 years old. And I personally know her. Dave and I personally know her foster parents. Right now, they did get a judge to throw out the case of putting her on a plane right away. However, it's not over. DCF could appeal and try it again. So if you are interested in learning more, you can ask me. They do have a GoFundMe page to help with their lawyer costs. And, you know, hopefully we can pray for this poor little girl and she can be safely brought back to her loving foster family. So, thank you.
Thanks for that, Bree. We'll certainly say a prayer for her. Today, in our pagan community, today is Imbolc. And this is a time of year, and it's a good time of year to do this when it's cold, to light a fire, light a candle, and think deeply about things you want to get rid of and things you want to bring in. In our tradition, we burn things to get rid of them and put them in water, and maybe you take a little stone and think of the stone as something that you want to bring into your life and keep that in your pocket this year. However you want to do it, even if you're just thinking about it in your minds. Happy Imbolc to all of my pagan friends. Think about that today. Thanks.
All right. And as always, we will light 2 final candles today. One for the joys and concerns that you hold in your hearts, and one for all the people out there in the world who don't have a place like this quite yet to share their joys and concerns.
Good morning. Our next reading is a poem by Renee Nicole Good on learning to dissect fetal pigs. I want my rocking chairs, solipsis sunsets, and coastal jungle sounds that are tercets from cicadas and pentameter from the hairy legs of cockroaches. I've donated Bibles to thrift stores, mashed them in plastic trash bags with an acidic Himalayan salt lamp. The post-baptism Bibles, the ones plucked from the street corners from the meaty hands of zealots. The dumbed down, easy to read parasitic kind. Remember more the slick rubber smell of high-gloss biology textbook pictures. They burned the hairs inside my nostrils, and salt and ink that rubbed off on my palms. Under clippings of the moon at 2:45 a.m., I study and repeat. Ribosome, endoplasmic, lactic acid, stamen. At the IHOP on the corner of Powers and Stetson Hills, I repeated and scribbled until it picked its way and stagnated somewhere I can't point to anymore. Maybe my gut, maybe there in between my pancreas and large intestine is the pity brook of my soul. It's the ruler by which I reduce all things now, hard-edged and splintering from knowledge that used to sit, a cloth against fevered forehead. Can I let them both be? This fickle faith in this college science that heckles from the back of the classroom. Now I can't believe that the Bible and Quran and Bhagavad Gita are sliding long hairs behind my ear like Mom used to, and exhaling from their mouths, make room for wonder. All my understanding dribbles down the chin onto the chest and is summarized as, life is merely two ovum and sperm, and where those two meet, and how often and how well, and what lie and what dies there.
Renee Nicole Good was a poet whose prize-winning poem, On Learning to Dissect Fatal Pigs, is about the quiet violence of dissection, how growing up, science, and cold analysis strip away our sense of wonder, mystery, and humanity, reducing whole lives to exposed parts on a tray. I believe we are watching this happen to Renee's life and memory. Her humanity is being reduced to clips, freeze frames, and legal analysis by many. The poem mourns the loss of childhood magic and reflects on shedding rigid faith. Then it turns to the biology lab memory, leading to the central image of the fatal pigs she learned to dissect, unborn potential coldly opened and examined. Her message is tender but clear. The world too often dissects what should remain whole, slicing away soul and awe in the name of understanding. Tragically, this is exactly what happened to Renee herself right now. On January 7th, 2026, her life was brutally and heinously cut short. Since then, her story has been dissected, body cam frames frozen and debated, timelines sliced apart, her final moments reduced to angles and procedures. The same violence she wrote about, the stripping away of humanity, has been inflicted on her memory. We don't have to accept that. We can choose to remember her wholeness, the poet who fought to keep wonder alive, the mother whose kindness lit up lives, the woman who stood with her community to the very end, while also organizing and seeking justice. Read her words, feel her light, and share her full humanity.
This next reading is number 732 in your gray hymnal. Number 732 for Martin Luther King Jr. All right. This was a short passage written by Tony Vincent in address to Martin Luther King Jr. I will read the italic and no, I will read the regular, you will respond with the italic. Great Spirit of light and of darkness, open our hearts to the anguish of our pain, to the tired taste of swallowed tears, and to our unrealized vision. Be with us as we continue our search for understanding of the mystery of the temporal. Move with us as we unravel the implied imperatives of hopes unfulfilled. As we touch one another in common cause and with the Great Spirit in our midst. Amen indeed. Now, if you will rise for number 161 in your hymnal, Peace, the Perfect Word.
Peace, the perfect word, is sounding like a universal hymn under oceans, over mountains, to the world's remotest rim. Toiling centuries have struggled upward on a stony way, just to set the torch of freedom where it flames aloft today. All the old forlorn lost causes, every fair forbidden dream, and the prophet's hopeless vision, and the poet's fitting dream. All the hopes of subject peoples, all the dreams of the oppressed, stay or rest.
All right, you may be seated. Now is the time in our service where we ask you for your donations to support this wonderful, amazing mission that is our Unitarian Church. All right, that was really cool. That was really cool. All right, so now comes the time to introduce to you our guest speaker. I am honored to welcome Eldric Abreu. Eldric is a community advocate, educator, and organizer whose work centers on justice, equity, and civil rights. He is the creator of the book you saw earlier, Environmental Justice Journey, a community-based initiative that uses storytelling, history, and lived experience to help people better understand how injustice, particularly environmental and structural injustice, impacts everyday lives. Eldric is a first-generation Cape Verdean/Senegalese American, and much of his work is informed by his personal journey navigating systemic racism, disability, and inequity. Living with severe epilepsy has given him a deep understanding of how systems often fail to protect the dignity and rights of those most impacted, and has strengthened his commitment to inclusive justice that leaves no one behind. His advocacy is inspired by the moral courage of leaders like Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., whose life reminds us that progress does not happen automatically, but through persistent, principled action. Eldric believes that advocacy is not only political, but spiritual, rooted in dignity, compassion, and responsibility to one another. Today, Eldric will be sharing reflections on justice, equal civil rights, and what it means to carry forward the work of advocacy in our own lives and communities. Please join me in warmly welcoming Eldric Abreu, everybody.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for welcoming me today. I am truly grateful to be here with you today. Standing here is something I don't take lightly. Life has a way of reminding us that our bodies may slow us down, interrupt us, or even stop us in our tracks, but our purpose has a way of calling us forward anyway. Today, I want to speak not only on a single holiday or a single moment in history, but about something that is bigger and that still matters deeply right now. I want to speak on the responsibility to advocate for justice and equal rights, and what it means to live a life rooted in that purpose. One of the greatest misunderstandings about progress is the belief that justice happens automatically, that society naturally moves towards equality over time. But history tells us something different. Every meaningful step forward in civil rights has come because people organized, resisted, and demanded change. Someone had to speak when staying silent felt safer. Someone had to march when staying home was easier. Someone had to risk comfort, reputation, and safety to insist that equality is not optional. Dr. Martin Luther King understood this clearly. He did not live long enough to see full impact of what he had helped build, but his moral courage, and because of his advocacy, countless others are closer to equal rights than we once were. We honor that legacy with a holiday, and not because the work is finished, but because the work continues. And I want to say something important. Advocacy is not only political, advocacy is spiritual. To advocate for justice is to believe that every human being has dignity. To reject the lie that some lives are worth more than others. To insist that freedom, safety, opportunity, and voice should never depend on race, income, health, immigration status, or zip code. Advocacy takes faith, not faith that the road will be easy, but faith that the struggle is worth it. And I know this personally. Living with severe epilepsy has taught me how fragile independence can be. Navigating systems that weren't designed with people like me in mind has shown me quickly dignity can be stripped away. But those experiences have also taught me something powerful. Justice must include everyone, or it is not justice at all. Dr. King once said that the ultimate measure of a person is not that they stand in the moments of comfort, but that where they stand in the times of challenge and controversy. Not everyone is called to lead marches. Not everyone is called to be on a microphone. And not everyone is called to give speeches. But I truly believe that everyone is called to do something. Justice is built in classrooms and neighborhoods and in our places of worship and everyday conversations. It is built when we challenge harmful policies, when we listen to voices that are often ignored, when we refuse to accept inequality as normal. Advocacy is choosing to care consistently. And right now, we live in a time where civil rights are still contested. Voting rights, disability rights, environmental justice, housing stability, protections for immigrants. Progress is real, but so is backlash. That's why, in the spirit of Dr. King's work, is still needed today. Not to be admired from a distance, but to be carried forward in practice. So the question before us is whether injustice exists. The question is, are we willing to comfort it? Sorry. Are we willing to confront it? And today, I invite us all to reflect. Where are you being called to speak? Where are you being called to listen? And where are you being called to act? Because justice does not move on its own. Justice moves when ordinary people choose courage over comfort. I stand here today not as someone who has had it all figured out, but as someone who believes in collective action, moral conviction, and persistent hope. And we honor the legacy of those who come before us, not by repeating their words, but by continuing their work. We may have the courage to advocate, may have the courage to communicate, the humility to learn, and may have the resolve to keep moving forward into not the perfection, but for justice. And thank you for your time today.
All right, Eldric Abreu, everybody. For our next song, I chose this. We chose this one during SJC on our meetings, around the time just a little bit after the shooting of Renee Good. To me, that day resulted in not only the death of a very particular mother from a particular wife and a particular set of kids, but I think that was the day that also, for a large chunk of the country, they saw something for the first time, seeing that the systems that they thought were going to protect them never really existed and never were really there to serve their interests in the first place. I think it's the loss of not only this one particular mother, but it is the loss of sense of normalcy, the sense of that everything is just going to be status quo again. And as you've seen in Minneapolis and across the country, people are really waking up to that sense of we are here, we have to advocate for ourselves, and only the people, when we come together and form community, are going to create the system that really supports each other. So as we go through this song, I want you to think about what has changed since that day. What has always been like this? And what can we do to make that system change for our future?
Thank you, Tom. Torsten and I will play through it once, and then the congregation will come in.
Okay.
Can you just?
Yeah, do you just want to look, signal me for when it comes in?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sometimes I feel like a motherless child. Sometimes I feel like a motherless child. Sometimes I feel like a motherless child, a long way from home, a long way from home. Sometimes I feel like I have no friend. Sometimes I feel like I have no friend. Sometimes I feel like I have no friend. A long way from home, a long way from home. Sometimes I feel like I'm almost gone. Sometimes I feel like I'm almost gone. Sometimes I feel like I'm almost gone. A long way from home. A long way from home.
Thank you, everybody. Our closing words today are from former President Barack Obama. What makes someone American isn't just blood or birth, but allegiance to our founding principles and faith in the idea that anyone from anywhere can write the next chapter in our story. This month has been a crazy month. It's been a month full of anger, a month full of loss, full of grief, but also a month full of inspiration, a month where we've seen people from across this country of ours band together and tell ICE to get out, tell them to melt, tell them that we don't want them here and that we won't stand for this. People have come together and helped each other, given each other food, protected each other, housed each other, made sure that we stayed warm, make sure that we're safe from any form of ICE out there. And I hope that as this year goes on, we continue to do those things, to follow in the footsteps of the people of Minneapolis, and as well as all those cities around the US, and continue to show up, no matter how cold it might seem, no matter how our government tries to treat us, no matter how much they try to make us dehumanized and seem like we're alone, like we have no friend, like we have no mother. We do. We really do. Everybody in this room, everybody on Zoom, everybody in this building and in this street and in this city and in this state and in this country and in this world, we have each other as human beings to make sure that we are valued, that we're respected, that we're seen, and that we are cherished, and that no government, no policy come up by somebody in that office can ever tear that down. Am I right? Yes. All right. Hold fast, my church. Stay strong. Live long and prosper. We love you, and go in peace. Thank you so much, you two, for performing today. You do an amazing job every single week. Play us out, and we'll have some coffee.